Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Saiyan review response. Is that what I call this?
I guess.
Chapter review response? No, that's too wordy.
Yeah.
Review response. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. As you can see, we've got ourselves some new toys to kind of fit. Well, those are toys.
Clothes. Oh, well, that.
These are clothes. Those are toys.
Yes, birthday presents for Joe.
Yes. Actually, so this one, Goku Black, was actually a Christmas present. And it's the first Funko Pop that anybody ever gave me. And I was kind of like, okay, that's cool. And then all of a sudden, people just started giving it to me for my birthday.
Yeah, so we're getting all kinds of them. But we have two that relate to this.
Okay, so this one's kind of funny. So this one's Gajiel and his Dragon Force, and someone gave me a GameStop gift card for my birthday, and I was just like, okay, I'll go pick up a game that's kind of cheap, and then just save the rest for another time. Well, I go in and I'm checking out my game, and I see the Funko Pop of Gajiel sitting behind the cashier. And I'm like, hey, how much are those? And he tells me the price. And I'm like, that seems like it's a little bit higher than usual. He says, well, these ones are limited edition. We're actually probably going to run out by the end of today. And I'm like, gimme! So now Gajiel's sitting on my table on my shelf. And I am probably going to stupidly spend more money whenever some more come along just so I can add them to my stupid shelf collection. But I will do my best to restrain myself. Though this shirt says otherwise. Anyways, let's get on to reviews, shall we? We're reviewing Chapter 18 for Saiyan, which dropped about a week and a half ago, if I remember correctly. It was a St. Patrick's Day holiday special, whatever you want to call it. And it's the first in a new arc that I've dubbed the Rival Arc. It takes place, and the Fairy Tail fandom takes place during the Phoenix Priestess movie, which is not canon to the anime, but I figured out how to work it into the timeline. So let's see what people had to say about it.
All right, so rhatch89 says, awesome update, smiley face.
Consistent as usual. Thank you for your compliment, sir.
Joe Clone says, great chapter. Azura reminds me of the stereotypical rival that's about taking names with no remorse. I don't like Eclair so far. Just so rude, like Goran says. The bridal shop at the end, though. Wow, that was funny. Why was Urza there to begin with, though? Something from the movie?
Okay, so I'm guessing that. So from that, I'm guessing that Joe Clone hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get I don't know. I think Urza has this weird obsession with weddings. Even if she isn't part of one.
It's kind of unspoken, but they do these little...
Yeah, there's even something in the actual anime where when she finds out that Biska and Alzak got married without her, she starts throttling Max, and it's not even his fault.
Yeah, I feel like they're building up to something.
Yeah,
so,
I mean...
Obviously...
One can hope for her.
Obviously, she's shipped with
Jalal. Yeah.
They're messing with us.
But yeah, no, it was a funny moment, and I decided to expand on that. And I'm glad that you thought it was funny. In regards to Azura, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that she's kind of like a stereotypical rival. I'm going to try and add more depth to her character as time goes on, and try to find out why she has it in for Goran so bad.
Cool. All right. So Joey Janice, I think, he says, you're really good at hyping these things up Dragon Ball Z style. You give us just enough to speculate, which gets us excited for the next chapter. You said you're writing your own original piece, right? Best of luck with that. And may the muses be in your favor and such. This was a good setup. Completed its purpose as a chapter.
Ah, well, thank you.
That was nice.
Is Joey Ganesh one of the? Is that a new reviewer?
That's
okay.
new. I haven't seen that name.
Bring on the Joes.
Yeah.
We got Not Your Average Joe. We got Joe Clone. Now we got Joey Ganesh, and I really hope I'm saying that right. Please let me know in the comments if I said it wrong.
That's really nice.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad that I'm able to write in a way that resonates with both fandoms.
Yeah, and we're really excited about Joe's kind of solo individual project going on.
Yeah.
It's we don't want to say too much about it right now, but I'm getting really excited because
I'm
it's
2/5 done with the rough draft on the rewrite of my novel.
But it's like far and away like mind-blowingly different and like more epic than the previous one. And I'm not saying that I didn't like the previous one. I think that the story was well constructed.
My writing just was not so much.
Little rough. So I'm really excited about this next draft.
In the rough.
Our kind of reboot for his original universe.
Oh, it is a reboot. So, Dragon Roar is going to be non-canon by the time I'm done with things.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in comparison to writing quality, like how would you rate the new version of my novel as compared to like some of the stuff that I've released on here?
I think that, you know, some of the earlier stories you wrote, like, again, you have this skill for story construction, but you've grown a lot as far as character development and dramatic irony and kind of filling those things in. You're less you used to be very methodical and like just say, oh, and this happened and this happened and this happened. Now you're a lot more creative with the way you throw new information at us. Okay. And so I don't know, I get super excited whenever he has a new chapter to read to me. So I'm lucky I get to be married to him and hear it all the time.
Not half as lucky as being married to you.
Thank you for the support, dude.
Yes, we appreciate
that. We'll definitely keep you guys updated as we get closer to publication eventually. So yeah, awesome. All right, Majin Lightus says, great chapter, mate. I'm enjoying Goran's backstory and how it is developing. Okay. I wonder how this new character is related to Goran. Are they brother and sister maybe? Cousins maybe? Good old sparring partners? Who knows? Because I don't. Cool.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah, that's
it. So I feel like I've done the brother-sister or the sibling things has been done to death by me, I feel like, anyways. So I'm trying for something a little bit new without going too much into spoilers. There is a way that they are related, but it's really complicated. So I'll leave you to speculate about that. And of course, yes, they were sparring partners at some point, you know? Mm-hmm. Let me think. What else is there anything else I should respond to on that? Goran's backstory. Okay, yeah, actually, now that I remember, as I recall, this is the first time that Goran, like, voluntarily says anything about his past without too much of an inquiry or like a need for it. Like he spilled the beans about his real origins when the dragons were attacking him. The future had been changed, and he's like, okay, you need to know this is what I've done. But this is like the first time, other than Kinano, that he talks to somebody about what it was like for him growing up, like what he had to deal with.
Well, it seems like, you know, at first he was really secretive and he didn't really want anyone to know who he was because that was his whole goal.
It's a little bit of a trust issue for him.
But it's like we had the whole thing that happened after the Grand Magic Games, and I mean, everyone kind of knows he's not from Earthland.
Oh, he told them that he's from Earthland, yeah.
Yeah, so
I guess that would make him lower his barriers a little bit.
Yeah, it's like people know now, so I might as well be honest with them because they are my friends.
Yeah, it's not like at this point, hey, I want to talk about what happened to me when I was like 8 years old, but he's like, if it comes up in a conversation, be like, I was doing this.
He's more flexible with sharing.
Yeah. I think that's a common recurrence in my characters is they start off like with a stick up their butts and they kind of have to
chill out eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a word for that.
No chill.
No, there's another. Anyway.
Stiff.
No. There's an actual like character type. We'll have to find it. All right. M Ferris 813 says, "Make Goran go Super Saiyan Blue and Gold."
Super Saiyan Blue and just gold.
Blue and God. My bad.
Oh, okay.
God. I didn't see. I saw gold. I read gold. I mean, it's God.
It doesn't. I mean, that would make sense because the traditional hair color for Super Saiyan is gold. God. No spoilers, dude. You're gonna have to wait and see if the God key happens. But you got to remember, in order for a God transformation to happen, they traditionally need 5 other Saiyans to make that happen. Now, Azura's a Saiyan. I've already explained that. Goran says so.
But she's the only other one.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. So there's only 2. You're not gonna get a Super Saiyan God with that.
Okay, but we'll see. We'll see how things go.
There will be.
At this point in time, it doesn't seem like it's possible, but we'll see. All right, Simon, really long review as usual.
Let's do it like paragraph by paragraph. I think that's the best way to deal with that.
He says, "I'm gonna start off by saying I've never seen any of the fairy tale movies, beside a scene where Lucy does a sexy dance on the stage in a bar.
That's from the Dragon Cry movie.
I'm going to be going into this blind unless I actually see this movie somehow. Until then, I'm going to critique just what happens in the chapters due to me not knowing the source material. So my reviews might be a bit nitpicky every now and then.
All right, I can roll with that. No, I prefer honesty.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So so you haven't seen the movies, and that one clip you saw would have been from the second movie, which
Most
is
annoying part of the movie.
Yeah, I was not happy. That scene, honestly, that scene almost killed the movie for me.
Yeah, we were just like,
this is
do
super
we
uncomfortable.
really want to keep watching this? This is stupid. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Lucy being Lucy, whatever. Okay, next paragraph. The first job that Golden Tail did was pretty well done. I kind of thought the flying was a bit unnecessary, though, in my opinion, since Kinana can just long jump a few times and easily catch up with the boss. As I'm pretty sure flight would have assured instant capture before that fight with Kaidan and Romeo went anywhere, especially with Kaioken in effect. As for the fight itself, it was nice to read. Seeing Romeo kick some thug ass was great. Despite being a kid, he certainly has potential. Lol. The mayor expected massive destruction that Fairy Tail is known for and tried to cheat them. Too bad.
Is that the end of that
Yeah.
paragraph? Okay. So far it seems like this chapter has made a pretty good impression. Your your nitpick, as you called it,
the flight.
So I guess I didn't do a good enough job describing. So this is a port town. It's called Negura. If you haven't seen the movie, it's kind of crowded, like the way that the houses are packed together.
Mm-hmm.
And in the original, Geese actually gets away from them due to this because, as I mentioned in the chapter, he can compress his body into paper size and just slip between.
Through cracks.
Lucy's chasing him and he gets through this crack in the wall, basically. But all these houses are super packed together, so yes, she could jump from roof to roof, but not only is that slower, there's always the chance that you could trip or slip on a loose shingle or something. It would be safer for her to be flying.
Also, being stable and being able to look, because when you're jumping, it's harder to stay focused on a target.
You're focused on more sensations that are.
If you have a more controlled, steady movement, it's easier to kind of keep your eyes on who you're pursuing.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
That's to me, it seems like jumping from rooftop to rooftop is kind of like you don't. How do I put this? You don't set your bike to a higher gear when you're going uphill. You set it to a lower one so that you can make it uphill easier. You don't work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, so, I mean, it makes sense, and it would be possible with the way that the neighborhood is set up, but
there's too much to miss. He could have easily gotten in between something. They would just miss that.
Yeah. Close quarters, lots of corners. All right. So, next paragraph. I think the fluff here is nice. My favorite is the interaction between Kaidan and the takeover siblings. But I do have a slight beef with that one part, too. Why couldn't you just refer to Lizana as the youngest sibling? All three of the siblings have white, silver hair. And the way you worded that introduction to Lizana made it sound like she was the only one with white or silver hair. Ooh, good point. I kind of feel like the scenes with Eclair were a bit rushed. Going out cold, a bit rushed. Going from out cold to awake and eating and then leaving and building up quickly without much happening, as if she was only in this scene just to be there despite being a crucial character in the movie plot, as well as not having proper explanations regarding her behavior.
Okay, so the behavior bit, I'm just going to say you're going to have to wait on that one. It's she's supposed to be somewhat of an enigma.
Yeah, she doesn't make much sense.
She's not supposed to make sense at this point. Okay. There will come a time where it's that's why she acts the way she does.
I feel like the way the scenes progress in the movie, it's kind of like that. You're like,
it's a little normally, in the movie, it's kind of they just imply that time passes. Normally in Fairy Tail, you get a filler episode out of that or whatever. It's hey, this time is passing. They go on a sub-quest or whatever and then come back. Oh, hey, this girl's awake. But in the movie, that doesn't happen, so I felt I didn't want to... And there's already a lot happening in this chapter. Even though it's a slow build-up, there is quite a bit happening. We've got Azra coming in. She's on the hunt for Kaidan, or Goran, whatever you want to call him. And scaring the crap out of an assassin's guild. So there's that to contend with. Even though... And you're left to wonder, wait, how is she even there? The Time Patrol's supposed to keep their hands off of Goran. Why is she coming after him? How is she doing this? And then there's the introduction of this new character, which will be tied into eventually. but
And
I felt like
yeah.
I felt like I gave enough for you guys to think about and consider without adding unnecessary dialogue and all that.
See, to be honest, I really don't like Eclair. I just don't think I don't think that the fairy tale writers created a character that's likable. I think
she was a plot device for the movie.
Yeah, she was a plot device. She's very dense. It's hard to relate to her, and so I think it's probably difficult to kind of explain her mannerisms because she's I don't know. She was very poorly written to begin with. So, but that's something that we could kind of work on is how
she
can
was
we
well
make,
written for the
yeah.
role that she
Yeah.
filled. I'm trying to fulfill her in a different role
Yeah.
this time around
Which
because I'm
means-
integrating her into the main
which
series.
Which means we should probably work on trying to make her a little less mechanical.
Yeah.
And so, which
I have
honestly,
done some work on that.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did in the later chapters.
Like I said earlier, she's not meant to be understood at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then thank you for the note about Lizana because that's the kind of
I mentioned her as the youngest sibling at some point in the chapter.
Yeah, but that's just the kind of wording thing that we're always working on and polishing as we're going through. So
that's true. So yep, thanks for that.
Cool. All right. Well, I was right regarding the new character from the end of the last chapter, but this does raise some questions. How the hell is Azra a member of the Time Patrol? With a behavior like that, she shouldn't ever be suitable for missions to protect the course of history at all, and the Supreme Kai of Time wouldn't let her near the time machine section of Kanton City. How did she even manage to sneak into this history without being caught? I'm pretty sure the Supreme Kai of Time would have this safeguarded in a special unbreakable vault made of Kachin. Sorry, I don't know my Dragon Ball lore. To prevent anyone from accessing it and let Kaidan live in peace. And lastly, why should it matter to her if someone was better than her? That's a constant occurrence in the Time Patrol of someone being better than you. So besides Kaidan, I'm pretty sure there must be some other Time Patroller that has both of them beat. Like, depending on at what point this story takes place in the Xenoverse 2, my own OC Half Saiyan in my story would have had them both beat.
Okay, that's a lot to go through. Alright, first of all, how can Azra be in the Time Patrol? Were you not paying attention when they've got freaking, like, Frieza and Bojack and all the bad guys, like, waiting around to be tutors to these Time Patrol members? I mean, did you just, like, no offense, man, did you just skip out on that? They're evil, but they're allowed to be part of the Time Patrol, per se. Also, not to mention, there's a sub-arc in the Xenoverse 2 game. You remember the Nuts Gang? Those guys are a bunch of jerks, but they're still fully qualified Time Patrol members. So, I mean, this organization takes all kinds. There's no context to say that you have to be a nice person to be in the Time Patrol. In the introduction video, Trunks says, all you need is to be strong and to have a strong desire to protect history. That does not mean you're a nice person.
Yeah, she is a little reckless.
I don't know if reckless is the right word. Well, I guess a little bit.
Well, I mean, if she's, she did just interfere with the timeline because she was pissed. So
we'll get to that in the next couple chapters.
Yeah, I know we do. But I'm just kind of bringing up probably what's going on in people's minds.
I understand that's how it would look to other people.
Yeah.
Okay,
but,
all right.
No, I know the reasoning. I know how you work it out later. Yeah. But it makes sense that this is kind of making people think and question it a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. As for her being mad that somebody outshone her, have you ever met a Saiyan? Come on, they're always trying to outdo each other.
It just bugs them.
It bugs it's like Vegeta becomes stronger so that he can be stronger than Goku. Goku becomes stronger so he can be stronger than anybody, which by proxy is Vegeta. But I mean, come on. What kind of question even is that? I mean, all right, if we need to nitpick at it all, you got to remember Goron basically said that this girl kind of had it out for him from the beginning. I mean, we've all had people where it's like, I don't like that person, and if you're setting a contest against them of whatever kind, you're going to do everything you can to beat those people. That's kind of how their relationship works, for lack of a better term. And there's more details on that will be coming, but that's kind of how you should just view it at this point, I feel like. Is there anything in there that I didn't address?
I think that covers it. He mentioned his original character, so that means he also writes on this site. I didn't realize.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of, okay, so, like...
So, okay, he thinks that the Supreme Kai would have had this safeguarded in a special unbreakable vault.
Okay, you're not wrong, actually. But you need to remember... Well, actually, no. I'll just leave you to wonder about it. Yes, she does have this history stowed away in a specific vault that's not to be messed with by the average Time Patroller. But something to remember is that Goran had the potential to one day become basically the next Trunks, the next sub-commander of the Time Patrol. And Azura seeks to surpass him in that. She wants to be the #1 Time Patroller. So, in that regard... she will dedicate herself wholeheartedly to this. She's not an average Time Patroller. Let's get that out of the way. She is not one of the people just, wandering around in the city. I go on a mission every now and again. That was kind of hard to do. No. She's like, she's on par with... Up there. She's up there. She's up there. I'm not saying she's the most powerful, the most experienced, the most skilled.
Keep in mind, when they're in this world, their power drops exponentially because the magic works differently.
The magic does work. The magic does work differently, and I don't even want to say necessarily that it drops. I'm kind of taking the whole jump force approach to it, because Super Saiyan Blue can obliterate a galaxy with a sneeze if they wanted to, but it's all about energy control. So, like. Let me just say, like, some of the competitions in Jump Force wouldn't make sense if they were taking place in the actual anime, and I can understand that, I can sympathize with that, but you gotta remember, this is a fan fiction. Not all of the rules are exactly the same. I have done what I can to give these characters something to struggle with. You know, I don't want them showing up and being like, bang, okay, there goes Zeref.
Yeah, I just blow up everything.
Exactly.
And I know you cover later on, like, how she managed to get there and everything, and so we can...
So, no spoilers on that.
Yeah, we won't... We'll cover it, dude.
That comes... let me think about this for a second. The way that...
chapters.
Yeah, I want to say that by... I think in the next chapter that I release... So, in May, you guys should know why and how she came to Fiore.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, next one. I have nothing much else to say besides two things. One, again, I see no reason why Kaidon and Kinano were flying at that part of the city, nor did it say anything, nor did it say they were until this kid jumped off his flying carpet. Okay, so maybe just, making that a little more clear what's going on. Okay. And two, that reaction with Kaidon at the wedding dress shop was ridiculous. It was an overreaction, and in my opinion, couldn't have been handled much better inside it. Have you seen Fairy Tail?
I was about to say, everything's an overreaction with... Have you seen anime? Everything is an overreaction with these people.
Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to go for, like, more of a Western literature thing, sure, yeah, that was over the top. That was ridiculous. But, I mean, I
thought this was absolutely in keeping with Fairy Tail and Dragon Ball.
In my opinion... dynamic anime-esque characters, they've got to have some kind of funky quirk that makes them tick. Like we have
Deku.
Yeah, Deku.
We have Deku who just does all the mutterings all the time. He's like brain vomit.
And then everyone's just like, what the heck is wrong with this dude? You have Juvia who just fawns over her gray, and it's just like,
be careful because this guy's a Groovia shipper.
Yeah, it's okay, but that's the thing. But then you have Urza, who's like this crazy badass 90% of the time, but you steal her cake and she loses it.
Or if you question her choice to buy a wedding dress, she gets a little pissed about it.
Yeah, so it's like, most well written, deep,
as
anime
deep as
characters,
as deep as they can get.
An anime character can get. They always, they'll have their serious sides, they'll have their normal controlled side, but then there's always that one goofy quirk. And I think that in order for a character to be kind of dynamic and funny, I mean, I want to say
Goran doesn't do a lot. Goran has bad puns every now and again, but there's not a whole lot of humor associated with him, and I'm trying to make sure that it's like, well, yeah, everybody
wants trying to make him different from Mataris as well.
Yeah.
And so...
Mataris is no fun.
Yeah, Mataris is a
he's the fun police.
Yeah, he's no fun. He gets better, but he's a butt. All right. So this was a nice read. Can't wait to see more down the line, and hopefully I'll try and read and review sometime after they're updated. Like I try to if I'm not too busy. Keep up the good work.
Okay. So it seems like, though there was a mixed bag, it looks like the chapter left an overall good impression.
Reading them, so he's enjoying.
Yeah.
So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you got a busy schedule. We do too. So a little.
That's one of the reasons I write these things out in advance, so I can release them on a monthly or bi-monthly or on a monthly or bi-weekly basis, so that way I don't leave you guys hanging for months on end as I've done with some of my other stories.
Yeah, have a baby, and career stuff, and just everything, and so
all the things.
I know it's life. We're busy too, so no problem. Thank you so much for taking the time to do these nice, long, in-depth reviews.
Yeah,
we appreciate it for sure.
Is there another one?
And that's it for this chapter.
Alrighty. So, so from now on, I'm going to try and do these one chapter at a time because a couple of people mentioned, hey, it's kind of ridiculous that you expect us to watch a 1 hour video and then just find out like 5 minutes.
Again, scheduling, it's rare that we have time to do this. So we're going to try to be better about just doing
one chapter at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I've mentioned in the chapter that I recently released, if you want to know where my response to your comment begins, tell me and I will find the timestamp for you.
Yeah.
So that way you can just pick up on whatever it is you wanted me to answer. And another thing that we're gonna be trying to do this month is we're gonna start analyzing some of the fairy tale pairings and why they do or don't work in comparison to some of the other ones, like which one, and not even like some of what we like will be into play, of course, but like we're gonna try and keep it as like analytical as possible, like. Why, for example, the first one we're going to do is Gray and Juvia, why that doesn't work. Like, and then another one we can do is why Natsu and Lucy works as opposed to Natsu and Lozana. But we'll get to that at some other point.
We'll kind of go over the pros and cons.
It'll kind of depend on how well well the first video is received.
See how you guys feel about it.
Whether or not we'll do more of those.
So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's fun.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
We've been together for like 7 years at this point. We've only been married for like a year and a half. But hey, I feel like we have a pretty good relationship. We kind of understand relationships pretty well, even though we're pretty young. So I think it'll be fun to kind of debate with you guys too. So anyway, I think that's
please like, subscribe, share with your friends. This is a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to the next chapter. See you guys next month. Red Swordsman out.
Okay, thanks.
I'm stuck.
Oh no.